I'll just hand over to you. I mean, I don't know if you want to introduce the topic slightly and some of the research that you've been doing at Nomad Foods, and then we can go from there.
Of course. So first of all, thanks for the opportunity. Good afternoon to everybody. So as you said, so Nomad is this home of iconic brands, and Bird's Eye is one of them. And about 100 years ago, Clarence Bird's Eye invented the technology for frozen food, and he sets the temperature of the whole supply chain of frozen foods at 0 degrees Fahrenheit or minus 18. And 100 years later, we are challenging and trying to reinvent the industry and the whole global supply chain of frozen foods with this study. So about 3 years ago, we started doing this study around our portfolio, testing 4 sets of different temperatures, so minus 18, 15, 12, and 9, and seeing how our product performed. And we got very interesting findings. So we found out that actually at minus 15, we can deliver the same product experience to our consumer, the same profile of vitamins and nutrients, and actually save something close to 10% of energy and equivalent on carbon emissions. So we are now in this journey trying to tell the world about the story of this study and engage other partners to do the same.
And that's fascinating. So you're talking about a 3%, I mean, a 3 degree difference
Yeah.
in temperature, but
Yeah.
a 10% energy savings.
Yeah.
I mean, why? I mean, it seems pretty obvious. Can you? I mean, that companies should be changing or regulations should be changing to adopt this. I mean, why isn't this shift happening faster?
So I think that there are two big aspects. One is the regulatory aspect, as you said. So this standard is there for several decades, and it's a food safety standard. So there is a work to be shared on that we can guarantee, and then engage the sanitary and food safety authorities around the world to do this shift. But the other part is all the cold chains are shared around the world. So we are a big player in the industry, but we share with other companies. So we need to bring all those other companies, other partners, the 3PLs, and the other companies in this journey. So then we can really do the movement together. Would be not feasible to have Nomad Foods storage at minus 15 and in the same facility and same building having other products from other companies at a different temperature. So there is some technical aspects behind. So we need to go all together. But the size of the price is huge.
And then, I mean, you're talking about going together and being collaborative in terms of the approach. I mean, how's that going so far? What conversations are you having with businesses? What's the reception like?
So this is a great question because we start with our study and we publish it and we joined recently a coalition. So there is a coalition. It's called Move to Minus 15. It's led by us with other partners into the industry, 3PLs and other partners. And we are gathering more players in the frozen food space, but also logistics space and engage with the authorities as part of this coalition. So this is a global movement. It's not a European, and we are part of it.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And then could you talk, I mean, I know you mentioned regulation there. I mean, is that the only barrier? I mean, what are the other barriers that you're sort of foreseeing? I mean, you talked about how everyone's sort of collaborating. I mean, but what are the other barriers to sort of achieve?
So I think that so the regulation is the immediate one. But if we think in the whole chain, we think about the factories, the warehouses, the transportation. So it's guaranteed the temperature control on all those steps, and guaranteed that we can deliver a reliable supply chain in all those steps at the right temperature is a technical challenge, but all the advance that we have on technology and monitoring allow us to do that. Today we can know real time what is the temperature of a container in the middle of the ocean, something that it didn't exist a few years ago. So the technology is there. It's just a matter to make it applicable.
And is that, and in terms of the technology being there, is that accessible for all businesses and all suppliers? I mean, granted, take into account the size of those suppliers and those businesses?
It is, because part of what we are doing is like big companies like us. We we fund most of the fixed cost of this infrastructure. So if us and a couple of the other big companies jump into this initiative, we can actually make it affordable for pretty much everybody.
Yeah. Okay, interesting. And then I guess, so a couple of panels ago, we heard about the relationship between sort of supply chain resilience and sustainability and businesses sort of having to balance one against the other. I mean, I'm keen to sort of bring this conversation up in this discussion as well, because so many businesses now are focused on supply chain resilience and security. And I guess something like this that reduces the temperature. I mean, you're going to have to change systems. I mean, does this not just introduce new challenges for businesses when they're trying to fight fires on different fronts?
So it's actually, I would say, it's probably quite the opposite, because if you think that to sustain the temperature of a deep frozen supply chain, you are very energy intensive in several places. And if we think in all the climate change and the eventual disruptions that we have, the availability of energy in all those places is probably one of the biggest threats. If we need less energy, we can actually increase the resilience of the business across the globe. So this is, we see this as one of the enablers to increase the resiliences in the supply chain worldwide.
Yeah, and is that the sort of the conversations you're having with other partners? I mean, are they seeing it as a similar opportunity, or do they? I mean, because I know Nomad Foods is sort of spearheading this movement, and obviously you throwing your weight behind it. But is this the same with other businesses and suppliers you're working with as well?
It's great that you mentioned that. Actually, every company that or everyone that gets in contact with us is asking how we are doing and want to do the same. So today I was here in the coffee, and we were talking with another company that produce pet food, frozen pet food, and they were very interested in those. So there is a big excitement around the initiative. It's all about how we move together at pace.
Yeah. And then I guess sort of just coming to the more practical aspects of shifting the temperature for your cold chain.
Yeah.
I mean, how does it work, in terms of the reprogramming of your whole supply chain? I mean, you talked there about, storage and then transportation, the warehousing. I mean, how is that working?
Yeah. So actually the manufacturing and the logistics infrastructure is the easy step in all this all this chain, because we have those very large facilities where you can manage the temperature. The challenge that we have is now engaging with the retailers, because they have a way bigger footprint and fragmented. So actually engaging, having the right temperatures controls at the retail will be the next step of change, but it depends on the regulation, as I mentioned. But we have a lot of retailers really interested on this, because this means immediate energy savings to their footprint. So that's probably the next step.
Yeah, and I know you're sort of piloting this initiative in the UK. I mean, how's that going? I mean, I know you know everyone's sort of speaking positively about this initiative. Has anyone moved to 15 yet?
Yeah, so not yet, because I mentioned on the regulation, but would be the interesting aspect on all this is when we start this and we start mapping our more than 100 distribution centers across Europe, we found out that actually none of them were operating at -18. To guarantee -18 at the distribution center, we had some of our customers, we had some of our distributions operating at -23 or -21. So what we've done already, it was move everybody that was at -23 and to -21. Yeah. And now we are building the path to -18. So this is a part of the journey. So part of the savings, that the benefits are already happening. Yeah. We have a pilot in the UK in 3 distribution centers already operating into this model. So we are walking the talk, but we are anticipating the next step. That's the -15.
Okay, and then I mean, I guess so. I mean, you're talking about shifting suppliers and others from -22, -21 to -18, which seems to be fantastic. I mean, how have you been able to do that in terms of, like, are you sharing data? Are you allowed, into the facilities? I mean, how's that cooperation happening there?
So it is built on transparency.
Yeah.
So there is no way to do this type of thing if you don't share the information. And we are finishing a second phase of our study, and we are ready to publish it probably sometime between end of Q2 and beginning of Q3. And we make our data available and engaging other companies to do the same.
Yeah.
So that's the only way to achieve the results and accelerate this learning curve across the industry.
Yeah. And before I want to come on to regulation because you mentioned it a couple of times. But obviously, things like this research study are quite important to bring people on side.
Yeah.
I mean, and you've talked about sort of the 10% energy cost savings. I mean, what else did you find in your study that shows the benefits of moving to 15?
So I think that the key aspect is the minus 10%, keeping the profile of nutrients. And when you think about the frozen food, the breakthrough of a frozen food 100 years ago is that actually we can get a much better nutrients profile in veggies and other products than in the fresh market, because every day that something is in the fresh market, it gradually loses the nutrients. So this is one of the benefits of frozen food, is to keep all the nutrients from the moment it's harvested or produced all the way for months at the house of the consumer. So we delivering it even at a lower temperature is the key benefit.
Yeah, because I know I said I'd come on to regulation, but I just want to talk about the quality aspect first.
Yeah.
So I know that moving to 15, and you did the studies, and the study shows that preserving this food doesn't have any impact on the preservation of food.
Yeah.
I mean, what about quality? Particularly in terms of eating experience. I know you talked about nutrients there, but is that the same? Is it? What was I guess coming back to it, what was the rationale for 18, and was there something about the food quality there, or?
So if you think 100 years ago, the rationale was 0 Fahrenheit. As simple as that.
Yeah.
And that's how we set up the minus 18. As I said, we mentioned we did this study with 4 ranges of temperature: 18, 15, 12, and 9. And actually, at 9 and 12, we start seeing a degradation of the experience from the consumer, and that's why I said this is way too far. So that's why we believe that the breaking point is the 15, and we are going behind it.
Okay, interesting. And let's just come on to the regulation aspect. I mean, again, I don't want to repeat points, but I mean, I know you're piloting this in the UK. But what are the sort of regulatory barriers that you have to overcome? And I know in the EU they take a sort of precautionary approach to regulation, where they sort of regulate something before that change happens. Because they want to ensure safety for consumers. I mean, how does that work with a change such as this? That's 18's been around for, like you said, 100 years. I mean, how does a change like this?
Yeah. So this is the interesting part of all this work that we are doing, because we know and we see that the governments are interested in initiatives to save energy, and of course they have the responsibility to guarantee that what we are being commercialized is food safe. It's safe from a food perspective. So our work is to connect those two conversations, and from an industry perspective, but guarantee that the government agencies that take care of energy security and environment talk to the people that guarantee food safety, and then we back this up with strong data to show that it's possible to actually have the best of both worlds.
Yeah. Okay. Now, I've got a couple more questions, but I just want to turn to a couple of the audience questions.
Yeah.
So why don't we take the first one first? So does this have implications for supermarkets and at-home freezers too?
So definitely for the supermarkets. So we believe that actually the next step of the benefits to move the regulation will be the supermarkets. They will benefit from that. They will have the possibility to change the freezers and enjoy all the benefit. At home is slightly different, because at home, all of us, we store the frozen food products that we buy, but several of us, we cook and we hold the product there. And then we cannot guarantee that if you change the temperature over time, the product characteristics of what you cook at home will be the same. So we are, I would say, we are far from recommending people to turn the freezer at home, but we are definitely in a moment that we say that we can go for the supermarkets.
Brilliant. And then the second one we've got here is this as simple as turning the temperature down? What infrastructure changes are involved?
Yeah, well, it's as simple as managing 70,000 pallet positions warehouse and have all the controls there. You can set a different temperature and gradually reduce it, increase over the time. The impact on infrastructure is that if we look those type of assets, they have a life of 20, 25 years. So there will be a possibility of a whole new generation of warehouses to be built with a smaller infrastructure because don't need to hold the temperature for that high level of requirements. So actually, you can make it more accessible and better return on investment. So
okay, that's interesting. So I mean, I know it might not form part of your study. Tell me if it does. But I mean, you talk about the 10% energy savings. So it actually, in terms of the benefits, it actually goes further than that in terms of the warehousing and the space saved, but also the return on investment, like you said as well.
Yeah, but we are in an early stage for this. So we are at 2.5, 3 years of study. But when we start looking ahead and changing this, will allow us to have a positive impact on several other aspects of the industry. I'm not even talking about the trucks yet, but we will get there.
Yeah. Fantastic. I know that those were two of the online questions. Is there any in the room? I mean, we've got one more, but I just want to see if there's any in the room. Oh, yes.
Yeah, just wondering, is there any other ways that you're collaborating with other peers in that space? Because that sounds quite compelling in terms of what you're saying about working together and having that.
Yeah. So yes, we are. So we are collaborating in a formal way through this coalition that's called Move to -15, and they are an independent body, non-profit that is helping us with gathering across the industry and in different steps, but in an informal way. We are partnering with everybody that approaches. So and we exchange data, we exchange knowledge. And we are looking for initiatives to pilot and make it grow. So we are very active on this space. So thanks for your question.
Let's just quickly take this one before I ask my last question here, because I don't think we've got time for anything else. But excellent initiative. Thank you very much. Have you looked at influencing international standards?
Yeah, we are working on this. What we need is any pilot or any big initiative is to be able to prove the concept. So we are looking for one country, one market that we can take the next step, and we believe that with this data we'll be able to influence the others. We believe that UK, as we are based here and we have a lot of data, Bird's Eye was born here. And so we believe that this is the right place to go first. So we are looking forward to the possibility to take this step.
I mean, I know, last question, because we haven't got long, but I know you've talked a little bit about cooperation and you talk to anyone who's keen. Just keen to dig into that a little bit more. I mean, if we're looking, further forward, I mean, how do you build trust for something like this? Because, it's all very well saying that the food standards are the same, and, you're coming from Nomad Foods and you can see the benefit that has for a company like yours. But in terms of consumers, I mean, how do you build trust for a move like this, and also the consensus around, this move to 15?
It's great. For me, is the key message is all about the data. So the trust comes from the reliable data that we are building, and part of this collaboration is all about we sharing the steps that we took and encouraging other companies to do the same. If I can summarize what we are doing here, we believe that this is something that can really reinvent the frozen food industry, but we only can do it together.
Great. Well, with that, I mean, we're out of time, but do you want to just tell, before we leave, the audience where they can find the report that you're talking about? And then
So the report we did was in collaboration with Camden BRI, and it's available online, and the new report will be published by Q3. And if you are interested to go there, you can approach us on our company website, and we'll be happy to share the details.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much, Eduardo. I mean,
Thank you.
fascinating to hear about the initiative. I'm sure you won't mind me saying, but if you want to grab Eduardo, after the session, please do so. But thank you so much for your insights.
Thank you for the opportunity. It's a pleasure. Thank you.